Welcome to Think Games 2022. My name is Brant Dance and I lead global gaming sales, customer success, and specialist teams at Google. I am excited to be here today and share with you our views on the state of the industry in the year that has passed and our outlook for the year ahead. See, we work on a technology that has a massive global audience for even the most niche games. The ability to meet all that demand because distribution and discovery is fairly and relatively frictionless, while facing competitive and regulatory challenges that drive innovation, the kind of innovation that we embrace and love in gaming. It really is an incredible industry to work and to experience and to play. And it's going through all kinds of evolutions. It is the very definition of a technology that can scale, as proven by the staggering $336 billion industry estimate for 2021. And that does include business-to-business software and hardware and business-to-consumer gaming content across all devices. Now, all the factors mentioned before, global audience and a fragmented offering and relatively low barriers to entry mean that the industry is ripe for evolution, which is clearly indicated by unprecedented levels of M&A and IPO activity. You can look at Playtika, Nexters, AppLovin, PUBG parent Krafton, or the fact that industry deals respecting and looking at gaming have surpassed an unparalleled over $70 billion in just the first 9 months of 2021 alone. And interestingly, one of the reasons identified by AppsFlyer is that large studios purchase smaller ones to gain their IP data to cross-promote, making M&A also another form of user acquisition. Now, these common ground scale dynamics help define gaming as a unique class of companies that disrupt themselves, other games, and other companies and industries. Now, zooming in on mobile gaming, the results of 2021 demonstrate just that, how resilient the industry is in the face of challenges. Take gaming apps, downloads, and revenue. Overall, very positive, mostly driven by Android growth, where all devices were up 6% in terms of downloads and 15% in terms of revenue. iOS was down a bit on downloads by 12%, yet up by 16% in revenue. Android was up 11% on downloads and up 15% in revenue. We've also seen EMEA play a leading role in global gaming, with 25 of the top 100 publishers from EMEA, and that's constantly changing on iOS and Android, 25 on iOS and 29 on Android. And 4 of the top 10 publishers on Android are from EMEA, and 3 of the top 10 publishers on iOS are from EMEA. And again, this is constantly changing, but this is what makes it, I think, such a rewarding industry to be in. And there are 11 new publishers in the top 100 versus 2020. And I love that. You can always find room to grow. Now, that said, eventually every game hits the limit of the markets and the players it was designed for. Now, game studios will then have to decide whether they want to grow by launching new titles or extend the life of its current portfolio, or both. And the ability to create another game whose growth line ascends as the other game descends is the dynamic of most successful transcending gaming companies that truly scale. And speaking of new titles, players' appetite for novelty clearly shows. 16% of all downloads, for example, coming from 2021 were new releases, generating 8% of revenue. And if you look over the last 2-year period from 2020 to 2021, 41% of all downloads were new titles, driving 22% of revenue. Now, in revenue terms, the top performing genres were shooter, game constructor, solitaire, and hidden objects, while the worst performing genres were turn-based RPG and turn-based strategy. Now, in download terms, the top performing genres were hyper-casual, soccer, my personal favorite, and stimulator, beauty specifically. While the worst performing genres in terms of downloads were shooter, TPS, and shooter, FPS, and match 3. Now, if we look ahead and think of the industry holistically, it's in a constant state of reinvention, from new ways of playing games to new ways of engaging the audiences to new monetization models. And we see increasing supply more games in more formats, an increasing demand, a growing player base, and gaming's definition alone itself, in and of itself, also expanding, and the technology to combine the two to help that demand meet the supply. And if you look at the new ways of playing games, I think it's also a bit deeper than what sometimes we may think of. For example, I think the virtues of gaming go beyond just pure entertainment. If you really think about it, it's the first experience that many people have with technology. I can definitely speak to that end in terms of my own children. And take Roblox, for example, who's working to make technology education more diverse, equal, and accessible by using its game as a platform, providing free resources to teach students of all ages practical coding and game design, digital civility, and entrepreneurial skills. Or consider Niantic, who sees the world as a giant game board and is leveraging its geo-based game platform to add 1,000 small businesses globally as sponsored locations to promote safe foot traffic, ranging from a hair shop in the UK, to a bakery in Canada, to a clothing store in Colorado, to shops in Mexico City and Vietnam. And not to mention new innovations, reaching far and interesting parts of the world with play-to-earn models and immersive metaverse-like environments that are only just beginning. Or just consider the multi-device or cross-device as multitude of formats continue to grow and expand. There are also increasingly different and new ways to engage audiences, as we see very strong gaming studios understand and apply branding techniques as a way to scale. From Mobile Legends Bang Bang by Moonton to what work that PUBG has done, to Talking Tom, Playtika, and Lilith, just to name a few. We also see playable ads continue to rise due to some IDFA restrictions, and new monetization models and mashups showing themselves across new formats, and even hyper-casual or hybrid casual actually as a strong new market segment with a lot of potential growth. So in conclusion, it is clear that player diversity, global scale, and technological innovation underlies every aspect of a gaming company and makes it an incredibly interesting place to spend time, professionally or personally. And now we're excited to deep dive into these subjects at Think Games. And in a minute, you'll hear about how consumer research can inform marketing objectives. You'll hear a live roundtable discussion on the future of gaming by top global players. You'll hear what Google's product roadmap looks like for you, as well as discuss hot topics on privacy effects and brand performance. And don't forget to visit our second stage, where our clients share their success stories and technical know-how on building great games, connecting to players, and taking their game to the next level. I truly hope that you enjoy this content and connecting with peers and connecting with Google. And I wish you the absolute best in scaling and growing your company, being leaders yourselves and leading your companies to be exactly what you want them to be.